evening and welcome to the Wednesday, April 16th, 2014 meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. First thing on the agenda are minutes of March 19th.
I have not seen them, Madam
I have.
Chairman. You have. I have not, so I can't say anything.
I did not see anything. I read them, but I didn't see anything sticking out to me.
I didn't either. So you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes of March 19th.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the motion on the table, which is to accept the minutes of March 19th, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. April 2nd.
Madam Chairman, I've read the minutes of April 2nd and find them essentially correct. A minor typo which I gave to Sue.
Okay?
I'll second.
Court?
I have a question on, the enforcement hearing on 19 Miami Avenue. Jean Wright is quoted here, and I just want to make sure that we're talking about the woman who commented about the enforcement. Is that the
She
same?
wasn't,
Not Jean Wright, that
she
was
wasn't
Harriet
the-
Duggan. Jean Wright
yeah,
was
so where it says Jean Wright, applicant, it should say Harriet Duggan.
Harriet Duggan.
Yeah, I thought,
I wanted to make sure that was
yeah, I was
correct.
thinking, isn't that the person who
No,
has a
it's
place on
not.
Main Street?
No, that was her property.
She might have been the applicant, but the person who commented was a
Jean
neighbor.
Duggan, yeah,
Harriet Duggan.
Harriet Duggan, okay. I just want to make sure that correction was made.
Tom. Yeah, thanks, I remember that, Court.
There's something else in there, now. Give me a second.
Actually, I don't know if I can, because I wasn't there. I was absent.
No,
Okay, well,
that's-
Courtney will
that's fine.
second.
If the other
Mike.
ones we want,
Made the motion. Courtney seconded.
I did.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table for April 2nd. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Request to continue under determination of applicability. Thomas and Nicole Hines, 164 Penzance Road, would hold for permission to repair and maintain the existing stone and concrete seawall. That includes replacing stones and grout that have washed out, pressure washing the existing wall, and repointing using fast-setting grout. Temporary elevated aluminum or timber planking above the salt marsh shall be used to minimize impacts to the salt marsh. Work can be done during periods of low tide. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, the applicant has requested a continuance until May 7th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion is second on the table. Any questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay, all in favor of the motion on the table, which is to continue to May 7th, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Request to continue hearings under a notice of intent. David and Martha Casillas et al., 00 Ferry Road, Wacoit, for permission to construct and maintain timber stairs of 4.5 foot by 82 feet, fixed timber pier, 3 foot by 14 foot ramp, 4 foot by 10 foot, and 5 foot by 12 foot float, 4 inch by 4 inch posts, 2 6-inch by 6-inch posts, 13 12-inch diameter pilings for shared community access and the associated excavating and grading. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, the applicant is requesting a continuance until June 4th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay, motion on the table is a continuance to June 4th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Bye, everybody. Is the whole audience going at once?
You're welcome to stay.
Request for determination of applicability.
Madam Chair, could we move
Oh,
to
yes.
vote orders?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Courtney has a date tonight,
I do.
and so we're going to move on to vote orders of conditions. And so this will be, yeah, but Susan, the quorum will be Courtney, me, Mike, Russ. We're moving to orders of conditions.
Yeah, and then, it's gonna be the same form on all three then, okay. Mike and Russ.
Yep,
So I'm not in any of these
you're not on these. These were all closed when,
last week?
last time when neither of you were here.
Okay.
5 and 11, Anawa Lane. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, this is the raise and reconstruction of the existing structure. There's 3 structures on the property on 3 different parcels. They were combining the parcels so that it creates
2.
2 on the lot. The existing house, when you're going down an aisle on the left, is going to be raised, rebuilt, and there's also a
R-A-Z-E-D,
substantial-
raised.
Yep, with R-A-Z-E. There's also a substantial restoration of the coastal bank proposal within that. I don't remember the board having too many concerns.
no,
You
I
need
have
to
two-
be aware that there's going to be a substantial amount of fill on the project
To,
to do the driveway.
Right.
A substantial amount of fill going in that driveway for the proposed project. Remove 7.3 California, they have given you all of the information
right, and
that
they're
you requested at the hearing.
I don't have any problem. I think it's an interesting project. I have 2 concerns.
Okay,
One concern is that the trees that are not going to be removed be
Yes.
clearly identified so that there's no accidental removal. And the second is, I'm going to say the same thing we said on another major landscape project. If the person who proposed this is not the person who does it, if someone else is going to be hired to do that work, then that person has to come in and give us,
okay, it'll be the standard language I use when you get a large scale, especially when you're removing a tremendous amount of vegetation on a coastal bank. In this case, it's Blue Flags has to be the sole person that implements that plan. If the applicant chooses someone other than Blue Flags, they need to submit, come before the board and submit their own restoration
Yep.
and mitigation plan to this board.
yep. Hi. Why are you here?
I'm looking for the conservation committee meeting.
This is it?
Okay, and we're happy to see you, but maybe it's a project that we've already continued. That's,
It's with regard to the issue of Ferry Road and Walkway Bay.
right,
It's on the agenda for tonight?
it is, and that's been continued to June 4th.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I wanted to know. It's not
I'm
that,
glad that you told me that, because I looked at the website this afternoon and there wasn't any notice of that I saw, so,
but the applicants requested to continue,
for
June
June 4th,
4th.
thanks.
Right, that's why I asked. It wasn't that I didn't want you to stay, but I thought that's why you might be here.
I'm very glad that you did, because I would stand here like an idiot, so.
No, no, not at all.
You're welcome to stay.
Ma'am, on the 4th, give the conservation office a call around 3 o'clock, just to confirm.
Okay, will do. Thanks a lot.
Madam Chairman, does it matter if that, what they're designating as large oaks in the southern sector are actually tupelos? Now, I don't know if that means
In the southern part, Mara,
in the southern sector there, see where they have the large oaks, like 15 inches, and
Yeah.
see them all there? Those are tupelos. Now, I don't know if that makes a
oh, the
difference or
double
not.
trunk oak is the.
Yeah, those are all
tupelo,
tupes, yeah.
We can, you know what, I can have them revise the plan to
I don't- yeah,
identify
I don't-
those. You know what, I bet they're correct on her plan. Unless she just overlaid it. Nope, she's got them as oaks. I'll have them submit a revised plan with the correct tree species if you'd like.
I don't know if it make any difference or
I
not,
mean,
but
they are
just,
removing, if you look at the one from the walkway, okay, they're not around, I remember going around the patio. That 9-inch and that 14-inch double oak, I do believe, They're damaged. They're severely diseased and damaged, I saw them. And they are proposing to remove those, but I'll have them change, I'll have her go back out and look.
Maybe just for accuracy's sake?
Yeah, not a problem. I'll have her go back out and look.
Are there any other comments?
I'm happy with that one.
Okay. Could we have a motion to accept?
Move to accept with the, as proposed and discussed.
Gentlemen,
second
you have a
that.
second? Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion on the table, which is to accept Anawa Lane as discussed, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. 4 Little Harbor Road. This is a little project down Little Harbor. It's pretty straightforward.
Yes.
I didn't have any concerns.
No, this is, the deck.
Yeah,
They're taking the the existing footings are in the water.
And
in
they're
Little
gonna move them
Harbor
back.
And are seaward of the existing kind of seawall. They're proposing to remove those, pull the footings back, onto land.
clean up the
Clean-
concrete
yeah,
down below
clean
and
up the concrete, clean
shore
up
it
the
up.
wall, and then the deck will be in the same footprint, but instead of the footings being there, it'll be cantilevered with the new posts and footings.
Yep,
There was also some stonework on the, must be the south end of that stone wall.
yeah, they're gonna remove the concrete that's down there, any of the concrete that's cracking
Go
off.
further down on the
Right.
south end. There was
Right.
There was quite a bit of shrubs, trees, right above that wall. And going to stay. They're gonna be
Are you
working from
talking
the
about
water.
where the cross-section B is?
Where
Where
you
they
go all the
want
way
it-
down to the south end.
Yes.
Yeah, where the cross-section
turns.
B, where it's sinking in, and
Yeah.
they're gonna backfill it, and
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
to the
No.
extent,
Yeah, and they're doing
The
it,
18-inch, they have it labeled as tree.
tree.
Okay, so just protecting
and
the
there's
trees.
shrubs there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some,
Yeah.
Protecting the vegetation.
Well, how about a
Limit of-
pre-picture and then anything that's removed,
perfect.
Yeah,
but would look unfavorably if that tree were removed.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay?
perfect,
Motion?
perfect.
Motion?
Motion to accept the project as discussed.
I'll second that.
Second? Motion in 2 seconds? Motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. 80D Little Island Road. This was Tom's project
Oh, that's the,
for little steps here, steps removed there, steps added here. Yeah, pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward as far as I.
Yes.
yeah, the additions under construction, it's just small additions to the existing, additions to the existing project.
Yeah, and there's gonna be a little bit trimming of the
Yep.
trees, but,
That didn't look like a lot, though.
yeah, yeah. Okay, motion?
I make a motion to approve
This
as
was an amendment,
discussed.
Okay, so standard amendment,
Yeah.
which is amendments don't get 3 years, they go along with the life of the permit. Okay, we have a motion, second? Motion and second? Motion, second? Got it?
Court.
Courtney?
I did.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
For your record.
Unanimous, so moved. 7:18, Courtney Bird leaves the meeting.
18.
Yes, you do. There you go, these are from Mark.
Request for determination of applicability, Daniel Clark, 46 Millfield Street, Woods Hole, for permission to install 8 new 8 to 10-inch sister pilings to be bolted to the existing 12 to 16-inch pilings and framing with temporary removal of existing decking. I guess removal and then
Yes, Madam Chairman,
replacement?
the applicant is Staff has reviewed the project, we're recommending a negative to the state in the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Any questions
Staff up at the beginning.
from the audience? No? Okay. Motion on the table, did you get that, Susan? Okay, motion on the table is to accept staff's recommendation of a negative determination, which means people can go ahead with what they've discussed with staff. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, unanimous, so moved. Thomas and Nicole Hines, 164 Penzance Road, Woods Hole. This is to work on the riprap, and that's been continued to May 2nd,
7th.
7th. Thank you.
Welcome.
Request for hearings under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are heard simultaneously under the authority of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. First is David and Martha Casillas et al., 0 Ferry Road, Wacoit. This has been continued to
June 4th.
June 4th. Thank you. Continued request for hearings under notice of intent. Branch and Colleen Parish, 352 West Falmouth Highway, West Falmouth,
State of Hines, June 4th.
for permission to construct an addition with stairs to relocate the existing septic system, remove a tree, move the path west, remove invasive vines from wetland plants, install native tree and shrub species, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Good evening. Jen, any,
I'll save any of my comments until after Tom's presentation.
Tom,
Thank you, there's one other that, well,
one other what?
one other request that we had that actually doesn't normally come before you, but a compliance. I mentioned that. There's a request for compliance for the previous work that he did. That's,
Did you put in a request for compliance, Tom, asked for a hearing in the letter?
no, we just talked about this, but we'll get on with this anyway.
Yeah, because I have to advertise it for our compliance before the
Advertise a
board.
request for compliance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. Betsy, you go. I'll help. The whole world falls apart without sign here stickies.
Hey, can't change people's habits. Tom,
Yes, thank you. The record name, my name is Tom Bunker with BSS Design. I prepared these plans for Jeff Branch Parish, who's here. The project is to, the site, I was here before a couple months ago or so with this other house. This site is a small condominium development. There are 3 properties, or 3 houses, 3 units on one property. Each has an exclusive use area. There's one for this house, one for this house, and one for this house. Jeff Parrish's house is the one in the back. He did rebuild that about, when was it? 1999. He rebuilt the house, and at that time, enlarged it by more than 25%. It's in the district of critical planning concern. At that time, that triggered the mitigation planting, and so he's enlarging again this on the upland side of his house. It too, I believe, because he triggered it before, cumulatively, it's still more than 25% of how it existed prior to 1999. So it triggers the mitigation planting, the DCPC calculation for the mitigation planting once again. So I have this addition here. The calculation is down here. As we did it for Diane Cuddy, who is here also, their neighbor. It's the size of the exclusive use area for this one building, plus 1/3 of the area of the common area, minus the area of the common driveways. So I have that calculation here, it comes out to 166 square feet of planting. That's after taking out a 6,000 square foot allowance per building in here. So is 1,660 square feet too much that's disturbed on this site. So I plant 10% of that. So as far as that mitigation planting, we have it up here, and it is mislabeled. There's actually 168 square feet, not the 300 square feet that it says up here. So this is 168 square feet to take care of 166 required under DCPC. Now, from the previous order of conditions, when he did the house before, this has to do partly with the compliance, but it really has to do with moving forward. This area here was not treated in the way that was required in the order of compliance from 1999. Part of the time Jeff was away, if you've been out there, there's remnants of a lot of bittersweet around the edges. You can see, I can show you down this area here. This is the existing lawn. This is the lawn as it existed when we filed in 1999. There's an area in here which has been cleared back. You can still see some signs that there was vegetation here. And then down along the stone wall here, you can see that bittersweet and other vines are chopped right off along the stone wall. So this area's been cleared. You can see that vines have all been pulled out from around these cedar trees in this location. It's kind of bare underneath. And then there's a chunk of the overgrown invasive plants here and also down through the wetland. So that's the existing conditions. And so then to bring that into compliance, we'll say that Jeff's taken the first step toward putting it back into a more natural plant habitat. So we're proposing this spring and summer, if we can go through with this, is to start with, I drew it somewhat in a row, but a staggered row of fairly mature, or 3-gallon plants along here, which would delineate the edge of one where we're supposed to be, this area here was supposed to be not mowed and just allowed to grow back. So we plant some larger shrubs along this whole area here. But then in the back of it, what we're proposing is to plant with bare root, again with native species, but bare root. I think I specify 18 to 24-inch bare root. And they actually can be quite viable. I think there's pretty good soil here. It's not your typical sandy soil where bare root seedlings might not do so well. But this was old sheep pasture and whatever, and it's good soil, and I'm sure that they'll survive. So we're suggesting planting bare root here and bare root down here, but leaving a walkway along the stone wall and along where the wetland is, and again up along here, so you can maintain so we can get in there and pull out the remaining vines and shrubs, the non-native vines and shrubs from here. Keep it cut back from the stone wall here as much as possible, and pull and possibly do some spot applications of herbicide of anything that's growing in this area. So you can do that through this coming year, and the following spring and summer fill in the rest of it. What we would propose is this area here, which was required to be not mown, allowed to grow back. we feel that won't work, given the vegetation that wants to grow in. Well, we propose mowing it just once a year to keep down woody vegetation, any of the vines and shrubs that try to come in, and overseeding it with, there's a native grass and wildflower mix in this area here, and then just mow it once a year to make sure the vines don't come back in. Also, in this coming year, by hand, you can pull out the remaining vines and non-native plants from the area of the wetland in that location. Nothing will be planted in here. We feel that that will come back. If it keeps the non-natives from coming in, that will come back with the appropriate native plants. There's more of this wetland south and west from here. There's probably a seed or other source that can help that populate with the proper plants. So anyway, into the spring and summer of 2005 and beyond, then that would grow in. A path would be maintained through there, but it's going to be in this first year when this invasive vegetation gets taken out, the path will be moved right up against there's a fence along here to like a horse corral or something. So the path will come up along the fence, and that way get it out of the wetlands in this area close to the wetland here.
The organic
Jeff.
garden.
We have an area here that was shown on the original plan, a garden
Which original plan, Tom?
from 1999.
Okay.
Sorry. In 1999, there was a garden shown here. It probably got grown over in the meantime, but then re-cleared. But I would like to keep the ability in this area right here, as I note on this plan here, to keep an organic garden in that area against the stone wall. I think having a somewhat of a cultivated area there will help too in keeping the invasive plants from growing in. And I think Jeff has some other ideas that speak about.
Hi, my name is Jeff Parrish, one of the owners of 352 West Falmouth Highway. Tom pretty much covered most of it. The one thing I would like to say is, in all actuality, until about 16 months ago, none of this was mowed, and none of this was mowed. Maybe a little into this area it was mowed, but for the most part, until about, like I said, 16 months ago, when it was cleared because the invasives were just getting so big, and honestly didn't realize that in this area that I had to come before conservation to do that. I was just basically pruning back and clearing back plants that were, not plants, but invasive, bittersweet and vines and grapevine and things like that. So I don't want it to sound like for 15 years that we mowed all this, because it was never mowed. This came out just to where it is now. There was a garden there, a vegetable garden there when I bought my house in 1994, and it did pretty much get overgrown over the years. So we'd like to be able to continue to do that. And that's pretty much, I think Tom pretty much covered everything else.
Okay, thanks,
you.
Jeff. Mike, any questions?
Madam Chairman?
Oh,
Can I make a few statements?
yeah.
One, the garden, Tom, Jeff. According to Mark, in the research of this file, the garden was never allowed in the original order of conditions. Taken off the original plan.
I don't think it was ever talked about. It was never even talked about in the last.
So it wasn't shown on the original plan back in '99?
It was shown.
It's shown on the plan.
Shown on the plan. That stone wall. It's always been there.
Minor preference. Okay.
I didn't read that whole order to see if it said it had to be taken out.
I think that's what Mark is saying, that was supposed to be removed and revegetated. Well, I'm not gonna argue about the.
Right, I'm not
boards
arguing
that
either.
are currently
I have an
out.
old order here.
Okay. I do have some concerns, as you know, Jeff, about the mowing. I don't agree with the mowing of the wetland buffer. To remove, I mean, I was out there, the board was out there, you saw the staking out there, Jeff, Thomas, the staking we reviewed the other day. So that staking is what's supposed to be naturally vegetated. And as you can tell, there's lawn right through the wetlands. So the original order allowed the condominium complex to do some mowing, to allow the wetland to grow up naturally. That was not done. It was mowed. A statement says because they were removing invasives, it is a wetland area. There's a clear order of conditions on the property. So the staff does have some concerns because, as I told you guys out in the field, there's not a whole lot of faith there. So staff does have some concerns with the mowing issue. Bare root plants, not usually typically what we see for restoration or mitigation plantings, but if the board feels comfortable enough with them, as long as there's monitoring submitted, yearly monitoring, I would be acceptable of bare root plantings. I do have one question, Tom, because it's not clear on your plan. What's that orange area? I don't understand what you guys are trying to do. What is that?
That was where there had been a,
No, I thought the path was, I thought the location of your former path was, so now you want that path and this path? And this path?
no,
No, they're eliminating the path in the wetland.
This is gonna be planted.
this is the only,
So why is this even shown on here? Because it's not shown on this one.
just as a reference,
Right?
yeah, that,
So I'm confused. So
That-
this proposed path is what you want, we're getting rid of the wetland path, and that's the old path.
yes.
Okay, I don't have any issues with removing the path. Like, it's the same thing I explained out there, it's gonna be the board's decision, but I am uncomfortable with the mowing. I do see that you have the row of shrubs there. That's good, that's a start if you wanted to continue with that mowing. You have to I mean, how are you gonna get around those shrubs with the mower, once they're grown into their full and mature form? Hand mower?
Yeah, push mower I would think would,
I mean, you're comfortable with the yearly mowing,
Yes.
and all I can,
You could
You're
move your,
creating
Yes.
a barrier.
you could move your path, there has to be a
Oh, yeah, you can
There's
go
a
through the path.
opening through the shrubs where the path is, and you could put your mower through that
So
opening.
you're basically proposing to mow right up to the wetland edge,
Like that.
right? Is that what you're proposing, Tom?
it's
On
in
the
there,
other
we
one?
can, that's
Right
how
up
it's
to the
drawn,
right, yeah.
where we can, move
No,
that
but
back.
that's what it's proposed.
Yes.
Okay.
If
Like
it
I said, I
gets-
don't have an issue with the bare root. There are some trees that Mark has identified that they're no longer there. They were identified in the original 99 plan, by BSS, and they're no longer there, so that has to be addressed, and, that paper that Mark wanted me to pass out, that's your existing vegetation on the lot, and it's the same thing you guys saw the other day, and that was what was supposed to be there, with the orange being, I think, the area that was supposed to be allowed to be mowed. So, I mean, there are some good points to the project as far as compliance goes. We do, if you need the board, we can't issue compliance until you comply with the old plan. If the board accepts this plan, we could probably request a certificate of compliance for you and get that done, because then we'll record this new plan. Okay, so that, don't worry about that, we'll get through that. Other than that, it's basically what I told you out in the field. You think Bear Root will be okay then?
I think it'd be good, I mean, I plan to bear root up in our land.
Okay,
Yes, I think it will, I mean,
okay.
I
And you want
think
the
it's good enough
path
so-
along
Pasture,
the
pasture
invasive,
land.
and your garden over there, you
Mhm,
can fight
pasture
the
land.
invasives off your garden. Jeff, you don't wanna move it to the northern, is it north? Where's my north arrow?
It is
To
north.
the part of the top, to the, where your condo is.
Well, it was a
It was a community garden, basically.
Oh, it was,
is
okay.
what it- Is what it originally was.
Okay.
So
I
that,
just, because all those invasives were right there, I wasn't sure if
Well,
we were
it-
gonna be constantly fighting those, trying to get into your
well, there's a
garden.
stone wall here, and as everybody knows, I've
Yeah,
cut
you
it back,
cleared
and I would
back
just
that.
continue to,
And you'll continue to do that?
that, because, honestly, that's basically what happened, is everything jumped over the stone wall, and then over the years, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and to the point where it was just overtaken.
Yeah, the only thing I
mean,
would
don't have a
suggest, if the
tremendous
garden is
problem
gonna
with
be
the
there,
garden. I just wanna make
that the
sure
garden be moved up 10 feet to allow you to get in there to cut the invasives by the
Because
stone
I
wall.
don't think you gave yourself a little room to cut in there, so
Right.
you may wanna just shift that up to follow your corridor that you have along the property.
We could have,
Sure.
we could
Yeah,
have,
because- and that
we
gives
could have
you the
Tom,
ability not to smush your tomatoes and
we
to
could have
go in
Tom
and
give
clean.
us a new plan, because I have a couple of other suggestions too. And so you could just show that garden in, say, 5 feet, just,
Yeah, you're
fine.
giving yourself how wide of an access path throughout your work corridor?
Over here, you mean?
Ultimately,
Yeah.
none.
Ultimately,
yeah, but 4 to 5
But
feet.
you do wanna maintain probably one around that stone wall area, cause you're just gonna be fighting that bittersweet all the time,
Yeah.
you know that,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
and the same thing along the fence on the west
yeah, the
side.
backside, yeah.
But I think the fence side might be a little better because aside from something, it might be growing on the fence, that other land is open, so it doesn't have all the.
Oh, so you maybe you
If
can
it's
get right to
gone
there
entirely,
and then just plant some,
Yeah, I mean, if
So
the
if
biggest
native
thing, if
stuff.
it's gone entirely from both sides of that fence, then that side should be okay.
right,
Here,
okay.
Along the stone wall.
Okay, so once it's taken out, and you can replant with some stuff,
Yeah, you'll be okay.
yeah.
I think, Madam Chairman, I think the only thing we're gonna have a concern with from a staff level is the proposal to yearly mow.
Yeah.
That's the only thing
Well,
we're
I'll tell you,
uncomfortable with, other
Here's,
than
I have a
that,
suggestion, and that is,
they're planting everything back, they're putting in the.
my suggestion is choose some appropriate wetland shrubs and delineate right now where plant them along where the hydric soil is.
Right along here, up in this area, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
where that hump
right,
is.
and that will also delineate where that yearly mowing can be. In other words,
I'm certainly willing to do
the
that.
mowing is between
Yeah.
that shrub line and that
Oh,
shrub
I don't have
line.
another color thing, yeah, like that round spot, yeah. We could just take, kinda like you're doing with along the edge, and put some wetland shrubs in there, so you can mow that area, and then the shrubs can come up in the wetland.
And the other thing, if the board, if they're comfortable with this, they could condition it, in my mind, before I even start building. I'm more than willing to start doing some of this now.
That's actually a standard condition that if, given a certain time of year, if you can
Yeah.
plant,
Absolutely, get
you know,
started.
we'd like to see that started, prior to construction.
Yeah, you might not get all the
You might
invasives
not get
dealt
all the
with.
invasives
I mean,
out,
that
but
might-
a good start
Right, I
would
mean,
be fine.
basically, the delineation between the wetland and the,
Yeah,
Yep.
and the upland.
yeah, because you can pretty much go in there, there's no invasives in that area right now, it's all kind of grassy and wet,
Yeah.
so, yeah, that's fine.
Something common.
It was another perfect day. It's perfect for me to go out with these freshwater wetlands when there are big puddles out there.
It's twice now.
Something in a shed.
And that's
good enough?
it, and so we're gonna move that garden up to give you access around it. Okay.
Right,
We'll
and
delineate
what I would,
that.
in the order of conditions,
And that
we can
order
request
chart,
that you
you
do
have
a
this
new
disappear.
plan
Okay.
incorporating what we're talking about. Mike?
The civil engineer is going to defer to the better expertise on the board.
No questions.
I second Mike's motion.
No questions.
Tom, I apologize, you probably covered this already, but I'm deaf as a haddock. What was the removal methodology for the invasive vines again?
I didn't cover that in great detail, but Jeff has been pulling and
digging.
pulling and hand digging is probably the best way. Sure that if there's something probably too big, I'd say it'd be cut and treat the stump.
Okay. No
what I
air,
did-
no aerial spraying of herbicides, or?
Well, what I did mention that I think when you get if there's a lot of little sprouts or bittersweet, then a spot application of a broadleaf specific herbicide, very limited, could be done if that's allowable.
Yeah, my concern is that, the vines are actually in the wetland that are gonna be removed.
In there,
So
no
you-
spraying, and they can even have a note here, no herbicide in the wetland.
Okay.
Be
So
full-
just hand pull it?
Yeah.
And do you apply herbicide right now, Jeff, or not?
He hasn't,
I
have you?
applied some today for the first time to the ivy.
Over by your condo.
There's a big clump of ivy right here by the fence, by the driveway that's been coming in over the last
Okay,
few years.
so when you understand, like, that's what I'm saying, you're pulling it now, if you needed to drip it, it's not like a spray, you have to actually drip on each little, okay.
I'm sorry.
And if the board, wants to close this, the compliance group, you can, if you want the staff to issue compliance, once this is recorded, we'll do that.
Okay, do
Okay,
we
so
vote
then
that,
we don't have to do the hearing.
can we vote that tonight, then?
Record this, and we'll give you the compliance.
Okay.
Okay?
All right,
You all right with that?
yeah, so we can just close the hearing tonight.
Motion to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Second.
All in favor of the motion on the table, which is to close the hearing and take it under advisement, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll give you a new plan.
Oh, yeah, new plans.
That was a very
Up,
positive way to say you're starting the restoration by the clearing's been done, and now we're gonna plant some native plants.
There we go.
That was,
Clearing was a good start.
it was a good start.
I know that. And, yeah, we'll just. Everything's agreed.
Seeing some,
Goodbye, it's a beautiful spot.
now,
We look forward to seeing it revegetated with native vegetation.
Tom, I will be monitoring.
motion to adjourn.
Oh.
Nope.
Yeah, and Tom, this is, you'll know exactly where I'm going. I said to Jen, for projects like this, and actually, when you give the plan, pick 3 or 4 places where you can take shots that will really show how things change over time. And put,
Photographs, so you're gonna do your
And put-
baseline photos for your monitoring, so you need a baseline, like,
yeah,
this week, and then when you do your planning, some baseline from the same spots that you did your photos. You know.
and actually put those, put those, we should start having people put those on the plans.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you,
Thank you.
good night.
Good night, enjoy.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
3rd, 4th, 5th, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, unanimous, so moved. Before 8 o'clock.